Hello, my name is JP Harrison. I teach here at Pittsburgh Community Middle School here in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and I teach 8th grade American history. Perhaps the most surprising thing for me as a new teacher so far is just seeing the wide variety of needs that students have. Like just the wide gap there is between students and how they learn, how some students are ahead of the curve and how some students are behind the curve, and just it's not it's not a cookie cutter thing where not every student's gonna be at the same place, or be even remotely close to the same place. um, my greatest challenge last semester, um, I feel like my classroom management could have been a little bit better. Um, I didn't really have major issues or anything like that, but I feel like it was disorganized and I wasn't very consistent in some of the expectations I'd put in place or wanted to put in place in the classroom. Um, but one of my greatest successes, I say last semester, is I feel like I've made a good relationship with most of the students that I have. Um, I don't, there are some challenging students, but I feel like for a lot of those students, there's a lot of common ground that, when they're having rough behaviors or anything like that, usually goes over fairly well, and not just a huge scene or anything like that. And I think the difference is I put such a focus on those relationships that I guess I got afraid of damage of potentially damaging those relationships, that I didn't really enforce those expectations that I wanted to in the classroom. So I kind of let some things slide that I probably shouldn't have, because I didn't want this kid to have, be mad at me or whatever. But I think with having those good relationships, that it's also been beneficial at kind of restoring where I want my classroom management to be, to have a little bit more order and a little bit more understanding between me and the students. As far as lesson planning go, currently here at Pittsburgh, there's two of us that teach 8th grade American history. So the other teacher, she's my mentor teacher. And since I'm, new, I don't really know a whole lot of anything, pretty much. She kind of helps a lot in the lesson planning process. Also, we kind of have to be on the same page with everything. That's just kind of the expectations of our school. So it's kind of, she says, hey, this is what we did the past couple of years, and I might suggest some changes, or like, that sounds good. I just kind of go from there. As far as a template, I really like the one that's been used here at Fort Hays State. So that's pretty much the template I've just been using, just because it's convenient and I don't have to make my own or anything like that. And yeah, no, I haven't developed my own template. I just use the one that's been provided so far. As far as questions about planning, I think my biggest, question as a history teacher is how determining, what takes priority and how much time you, dictate towards a certain topic. With the American Revolution, I feel like there's so much stuff that you could go into so much detail and all these different things, but there's a whole lot of other stuff that you need to cover as well. So I guess my biggest challenge is how do you determine how much time you spend on a particular lesson, things like that. And I would say what I see is the major benefits from a good lesson planning process is just the feeling of being prepared, having the confidence that, what you're teaching is planned out. There is some thought behind it, and there are potentially some contingencies in play for, what do we do for students that need some extra enrichment, or for students that might need some interventions that aren't quite getting this lesson so far. So I believe there's a lot of good benefits to lesson planning. It's just, I just don't know a whole lot about it just yet, but I'm excited to learn. I'm excited for this class and hope it's a great semester.